Good afternoon, my beautiful girlies. It's Grace, and let's hop right in to this makeup get ready with me. So, to hop right in to this topic of discussion, what are some books that I've read that has changed my life? So, with this topic, it's pretty interesting to me because fun fact about me, I guess maybe it's not a really good fun fact, but I just do not like to read. I don't know, I've never liked to read unless it's like a book that I'm genuinely very, very interested in. I really don't like to read one bit, like an actual like book. I don't like to read. I would rather read like audiobooks and stuff like that. And I don't know, I kind of blame school for that problem, but I guess we can't blame school for everything. But yeah, so the books that like I read, LMAO, are like Wattpad, and I used to read that as a teenager during the era in the 2010s. If you know, you know. And most of all, Episode is just one of my favorite apps, and I would say like I read the most on there. But I don't know, I think it's just really, really good to have actual movie animation as you read, in my personal opinion. So we're gonna base this video off of episode stories that I've read in the past couple of years that have really resonated with me, the books that I've read on there that have really resonated with me. And I have 3 of those books to share with y'all that have changed my life. So the first book that has changed my life has got to be the Episode book called The Infected. This story I actually read, I want to say around like maybe a couple of years ago, maybe 7-8 years ago. And this book actually is one of my one of my favorites, one of my top favorite Episode books I've read of all time ever since I've been on the app. And to not put any spoilers, just in case if y'all haven't read this Episode story yet, not to spoil it for y'all, but it's basically a book about these 5 teens that are in a zombie apocalypse, and they basically have to escape, and they basically have to find their journey of moving through this new post-apocalyptic world, and just trying to see how they're going to live through that, basically. And I think that it is just such an amazing piece of literature, in my personal opinion. I would say that this is one of the first books on Episode where it had a lot of advanced directing for me, because usually when you read books on Episode, sometimes the directing can kind of be a little bit and maybe sometimes not even a little bit vague. It can be very, very vague. Sometimes, the storyline doesn't make sense, but it makes sense because sometimes it's just written by like teenagers or, whatever. So, you kind of can't really put a lot of flack on them since they're still learning how to write. But, yeah. But I don't know, that is like one of the first books, like when I first read it, I literally could not put it down. Like, that's how good that story was. There was a lot of advanced directing, a lot of very interesting dialogue, and just a lot of cliffhangers and surprises, and come to find out that was actually written by like an adult, like an actual like paid episode writer who just happened to be an adult, and I could just tell by the writing it was just super duper good. And oh my goodness, I wish I could just go back and just like reread it like the very first time that I read it, because it was just that good, But yeah, I mean, every time I just read a chapter of that book, I was just more and more and more intrigued with the next chapter. It's like the storyline just made the clearest sense to me. It wasn't complicated to follow. It was very straightforward, because some stories, you can't really follow some stories pretty well because of just how I would say lackluster the overall arch of the story may be. So sometimes it's very hard to follow along. But when I read The Infected, that just wasn't the case for me whatsoever. I thoroughly enjoyed every single second of that story, and oh my gosh, there was just so many cliffhangers, so many important dialogue, just teamwork, and it was just such an amazing story. It was just a story that really, I guess, set the standard of what stories I want to read, because sometimes we get stories from people that, they don't put like a lot of effort in, and I get it. They're still learning, and I'm not going to put a lot of flack on them, but to the writers that really have transformed certain stories and made it so good, it's just, you could tell when you read The Infected, you can just see it in that story for sure. I mean, the writing, the directing, everything was just so impeccable. It was just amazing. And some of my favorite characters on there was definitely Kareem. He's just such a sweetheart. He'll literally just like help anyone. And that's honestly one of the traits that I just love about people that are willing to help others, even if they are, in danger or anything like that. And I just thought that was just such a great character that Kareem had. And yeah, he was just one of my faves. I don't really remember the other characters' names. I think there was another character named Tamia, I believe. She was the black girl in the story, and I just loved her character so much, as well as Kareem. She was just super duper brave with everything that she did. She just took the challenge head on, and she was just there for her friends. And what a great friend she was. She literally was just such an important character, and I feel like without her and Kareem and Estefania, because Estefania was also the brains of the group for sure, everyone else, I believe, just wouldn't have survived, in my humble opinion, honestly. But that's just me. So but yeah, gosh, I just I think the author that made that story, her name was Katori. Oh my goodness, I really wish that she would come back. But one of the biggest cons about that story is that it only has one season. It only has 18 episodes, and I'm just super duper upset that we weren't able to get more episodes out of that story. It was such an amazing story, and I just miss it. I just miss it so much, and I wish that we were able to get more stories, you know, not even more stories, but just more seasons from her period. But, you know, I understand, I guess. Sometimes, you know, authors just want to create new stories, so you really can't fault them for that much. But I don't know, that story was just so great. Oh my goodness. There was just so many favorite things of, you know, mine from that story, but because I just don't want to give away too many spoilers, I'm just gonna, because I don't like someone that gives away spoilers. I mean, I can see if they just do it to be annoying, but no, we don't like a lot of spoilers here. I have no idea what I'm doing with this eyeshadow. Like, I have no idea whatsoever. This may look really, really bad. I don't know. This may look really, really bad because I just put white on white. I don't know. I might go in with something darker. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know, y'all. I mean, gosh, I just wish that, you know, we can just get more quality episodes, like the one that I mentioned, The Infected, more on episode. And you know, I don't know, great writing is definitely scarce. I'll for sure say that it's definitely scarce. Gosh, I have no idea what I did with this eyeshadow look. This looks low-key a hot mess, but we have no fear. We're not gonna give up. We're gonna, yikes. We're gonna try to make this work. To the best of my ability. Okay, I don't think it's that bad. Y'all just gotta wait on it. I know I may have messed up, but you know, it's whatever. But yeah, y'all, The Infected is one of the first books that has changed my life. The second book that has changed my life has got to be the episode book, Mystery from Hanging Hill Lane, book 1. Oh my goodness, this is another great book that I, have read. It is definitely up there with The Infected. Like, wow, just so many great things to say about this book. It is just such a great book, and I love it as well. So the genre of this book that I didn't say about The Infected, the last point that I talked about, is that this is actually a mystery slash thriller book, and the reason why that is actually a very important statement that I state is because that's actually one of my favorite genres to read. I love a good mystery. I love a good mystery. If it's not mystery, then if it's not mystery, then it could be romance. But I know for a fact that if it's not one of those three genres, then I'm just gonna get very, very bored, in my personal opinion. I'm not really going to, really pay attention to the book, because sometimes, I don't know, sometimes some books definitely does lack in that area. It lacks in that department where, like, the characters or whatever could be good, but the story just isn't there. And yeah, I don't know, you know. Sometimes it's there and sometimes it isn't, but anyways, I don't know why I went on a tangent. Let's talk about the book that I just mentioned. Okay, so Mystery from Hanging Hill Lane book 1 is about a group of 8 teens from, you know, some similar social circles, some not, that basically go into this haunted house and they have to play this game by the game master, I believe, and they have to, you know, figure out some clues, whatever, to basically get one of the not only one of the characters siblings back, like sister back, but they also have to basically find a way out of the house. And my goodness, honestly, just reading and, well, not only reading the episode, but playing the episode at the same time, since it's very interactive, was definitely interesting, to say the least, because, I don't know, low-key, some of those games be mad hard. I don't know, sometimes you just don't understand the plot of what they're saying. You don't really understand what they're trying to mean at all. And you know, sometimes that gets hard to follow, for sure. But yeah, I don't know. I have no idea. But yeah, that was the main plot of that story. Was just that, and oh my goodness, all the characters on there were just so hilarious. It was just such you know, an interesting read for sure, just to see how all those characters work together. And I'm not gonna lie, I don't really remember their names because it was low-key long ago, a little bit. It was low-key a little bit ago that I've read Mystery from Hanging Hill Lane book 1. It's been a minute since I've read that book, but it was honestly a really, really great book. It definitely kept me on my P's and Q's. It definitely kept my attention up for sure, and that is just very much appreciated, because some of these stories, I don't know, some of these stories can just lack in that department, where, you know, it's a good story, but it's a story that you just don't want to come back and continue from, really. So, you know, you kind of just skip out on that a little bit. But it was just such a very interesting book. I mean, the game master in that story is just insane. Gosh, that person is just really insane. Just the background story of just how the game master even got started, that's also insane as well. Gosh, just so many more insane, you know, things. It's just crazy. I don't even know how to explain it, honestly. It's just crazy. But what I do like about this story is that the entire 18s, no matter the fights that they have, no matter, you know, the social group that they're in, they all stick together, even though all of them are very complex characters. And I actually forgot to say, you know, this as well. The main reasons of why they were chosen was because of their turbulence past, each of the 18. So some teens, you know, parents are involved with infidelity. Some teen parents have died or whatever the plot was. Not gonna lie, I kind of don't really remember it as much because it's been such a minute since I have read that story. But just seeing how all 8 of these teens just come together and work together to solve this one issue. I mean, I know some teens were on drugs, like hard drugs. Oh gosh, when I actually look back at that story was honestly just super duper insane. I don't know. All of them were just crazy, in my humble opinion. They were really, really crazy. And I don't know where these teens' parents were. Well, I know they were nowhere to be found, because I don't really know how y'all couldn't watch y'all's teens for that long, but whatever, I guess. But yeah, you guys, it was just such an insane book, and it was basically them just figuring out who the game master was, and yeah. But Mystery from Hanging Hill Lane book 1 is the second book that has changed my life. Now, the third and last book that I've read that has changed my life has got to be Mystery from Hanging Hill Lane book 2. So this is the sequel, and wow, the sequel is even more insane. So in this sequel, what they're really trying to find out, really figure out, is really the background of the game master themselves. So in the first book that I've sort of went over, really because I don't want to give a lot of spoilers, but two, and really most of all, I don't really remember what happened. I'm not gonna lie, you guys, I kind of don't really remember what happened in those books. It's been a minute since I read both of them, so I am doing the messed up twice, but you can't really tell. Basically in that book, they're just trying to figure out the background of the game master, you know, going on all of these adventures. I think one of the characters is actually in the hospital because of what happened at the season finale of the first book, and they're just trying to figure out who in the world is this individual that basically just keeps trying to play games with them. I think that the 18s in that book are basically the laughing stocks because of just everything that's happened, and basically no one in their town believes them. And what I forgot to, now that I'm remembering book 1 a little bit, in book 1 there was just a lot of things that the game master has done to them that really just like thrown them off, and no one was really giving them the time of day to listen to them, believe them. Everyone was just basically being mean. Basically. But yeah, it was just really crazy. That was really book 2. Them figuring out who the game master was at the end, them just, you know, trying to reel back from just everyone not being on their side and all of that fun stuff. And it's just really, really interesting to kind of get to see that side of the characters, the more vulnerable side. We get to know more of their like family history, versus in the first book, because in the first book it was more about one of the main characters' family history. But yeah, but gosh, the directing, everything was just so on point. But in the end, they figured out who the game master was, and they all, I believe, graduated from high school. But yeah, you guys. But yeah, so basically the main theme of Mystery from Hanging Hill Lane book 2 was them figuring out who the game master was. Everyone is trying to come back together to finally get this person, and them just being on their way, all them come together, being friends, all of them working together, whether in different groups or with pairs. And yeah, but yeah. So yeah, y'all, Mystery from Hanging Hill Lane book 2 is the third and last book that has changed my life. All right, you guys, so we just finished with this makeup look. Okay, I'm super duper happy that I trust the process, because my makeup looks so cute now. Adding that pink really helped add a pop of color to my face, and I just love the pop of color to my face. It's really, really cute. What do y'all think? And yeah, I just hope that y'all enjoyed this topic of discussion. My hair is out, my natural hair is out, the green is gone. I was waiting for the green to be gone because I was tired of it. But yeah, I hope that y'all enjoyed this video. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope that you all enjoyed. I hope that y'all will have an amazing Monday, an amazing week, and I will see all of y'all's beautiful faces next time. Bye, guys.